why are we losing Black and Asian doctors? And it took SAGE to say there is institutionalized racism within the NHS. Something that we had been saying. However, we gaslight a lot. And we gaslight our Black and Asian communities a lot, and we gaslight women a lot. And when there is a lack of inclusion, and we've gaslight women so long, because the research that we base around women is actually firstly found in men, and then we say, no, but women are just smaller men. I'll give you a prime example, heart attacks. So, heart attacks, women actually is the leading cause of death in women. However, the signs and symptoms of somebody clutching their chest and falling to the floor and looking all pale, you know that picture that we see in the movies and every sort of magazine that you pick up of a man looking grey? Well, the research was all done on men, and they said women get these exact same symptoms, missing the fact that women have something called periods. They have cyclical changes, they have hormonal changes, they have estrogen and progesterone, which fluctuates. And also, women's symptoms aren't that they get centralized chest pain, which goes into the left arm and up into the jaw. Women end up getting more subtle symptoms, like a mild ache, flu-like symptoms. They actually might just get sort of bilateral shoulder pain. They might not actually get it on the left side, they get it on the right side. They get indigestion type symptoms, a stomach upset, which when they go to the doctor, we say, no, this can't be a heart attack, and send her home. And so we see this repeatedly within the NHS. But what happens if you're from a Black and Asian community and you don't even have English as your first language? What happens when actually you don't have the words to be able to describe some of the symptoms? I'll give you a little story. Went into the mosque and said, oh, some of the symptoms that you're describing. So women would describe things like aches and pains, tinnitus, burning sensation in their mouth. They would say to me, I go to the doctor and all they want to do is give me antidepressants. And I know that I'm not depressed, but I'm coming up to my 50s, and my periods are lessening, but also I'm finding that I'm becoming exhausted all the time. I'm tearful a lot more. I've lost my sense of self, and I've got brain fog. But the doctor said to me, there's no such thing as brain fog. And I'd say to the women in the mosque, I'm telling you as a doctor who does women's health, you're describing symptoms of the menopause and you need to go back to the doctor. There is something called perimenopause when you have periods and menopausal symptoms because of fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone. And they would look at me and laugh. No. Dr. Arif, what you're describing is something that only happens to white women. The shock and the horror on my face, because that's surely, because they don't have the word for menopause. We don't have a word for our basic anatomy. And when you've got a society that has a lot of faith as an aspect, they use faith, I'll pray hard enough, I'll speak to Allah. Menopause doesn't happen to us. What are you talking about? We have all these issues where when we go to the healthcare service provider, actually, we are talking about the fact that I don't trust this service will do the best for me. I'm worried about HRT and breast cancer. I'm worried about what I will mean in regards to longer-term outcomes because I can't even communicate. So we have something called the Women's Health Strategy, where we looked at placing not just equality, but equity. How do you talk to a woman who talking about breasts is so stigmatized because it's hypersexualized, and teach them about the fact that they need to do a breast exam? So we have developed something called the Women's Health Strategy in the UK, which is looking at how we can have equity and clinical pathways that don't put women as just being a clump. Black and Asian women are just a monolith of one society. No, we're not. We've got nuances. Women of different communities have nuances. And we have different ways that we need the information access to us. Because equity is achieved when everyone can attain their full health potential and no one is disadvantaged. For the first time, we can hold governments accountable for the fact that women's health is a priority, so medicine does care about women, but also all the clinical pathways aren't for the white middle class user of the service. So what do? I make TikToks. Of course I do.